the stream. My name is Dan Dandino, and in case you didn't watch my last stream, I want to wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have fun, enjoy, say hi to Santa from me, and we're gonna be playing today just a slow, chill chess, very instructional. Um, I'm gonna be playing this time on Chess because we always been playing on chess.com, and I thought to myself, why not? Let's try something new. So as for time clock, I think we're gonna play um, 10 minutes, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Let's see if somebody will actually play us for 15 minutes. So let's go for 15 minutes without time increment, rated game, any color. All right, searching. Yeah, I don't see anybody. Maybe instead we can actually participate in some tournament, maybe for rapid chess. So let's see, open tournaments, and we have bullet, blitz, bullet, rapid game. Okay, it's under 1300, so no. Monthly rapid in 2 hours. No, 2 hours, that's too much. Oh, somebody accepted, perfect. So let's go. Let's start with e4. Hi Zakoreke, nice to see you. I'm gonna be playing slow, chill chess today. Try to explain the ideas behind. Let's go with open Sicilian. I guess I have to close it now. Wait, knight f6, I didn't expect that move. Need to analyze it. Quiet. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm gonna make myself a little bit louder. Let me know if you can hear me now better. Just made myself a little bit higher in volume. All right, perfect. So, so let's close the position. Play d3, g3, bishop g2, castle, the standard closed Sicilian stuff. I think at some point I might study something else besides closed Sicilian, because even though I don't like going into Najdorf, stuff like that, but closed Sicilian doesn't give, I don't feel like it gives me a lot of opportunities as white. So this is interesting. So if e5, I guess knight g4 is coming. Bishop f4. So knight e5, knight g4. Yeah, it will be very hard to protect this pawn. Later on, it will become eventually a weakness. But at the same time, I don't want to allow to black to develop. In case I take, he takes. I think e5 is somehow better, but I don't want to waste too much time on it. I'm gonna take, and then take with the knight on d5. No, without taking with knight, just take with the pawn and continue g3, bishop g2. So now knight takes, and I will play g3, bishop g2. He of course can take here, doubling up the pawns, but I like this kind of pawn setup with 3 pawns, because it allows me to control over the d4 square. The only idea, yeah, okay, we basically can play that. Yeah, we need to watch out for bishop g4 and then maybe queen d5, putting more pressure on f3 after the exchange, of course. He doesn't have to take on c3. Maybe bishop g4 immediately. Yeah, that's a good move. In this case, I will continue with bishop g2. And I want to castle. Put my rook on e1. Yeah, the second move in the game got me a little bit out of my preparation, like knight f6. I want to examine this move later on so I can actually improve. And we have an open center here. And most of the fight, I assume, will be around the center. I'll try to take control over the e-file. Maybe put some pressure on c5 pawn. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities here for both sides. Let's see how black reacts to it and what move will he play. Okay, e6 was natural move. He will put his bishop outside of the pawn chain and then locked the chain with e6, supporting the knight. Very nice move. Gonna castle. So the knight takes, and I take with the b-pawn. Now I have these double pawns that is actually a weakness, but as a compensation I got the b-file for my rook, and I'm taking control over the d4 square. And later on I could consider at some point playing d4. Now this move is very strong, and black is already threatening some unpleasant stuff here, like overloading here. I'm kind of pinned with the queen, and if I play h3, he just goes bishop h5. I don't achieve anything. So instead, what I'm thinking about is playing d4 and then putting my queen on d3, escaping from this pin. Yeah, I think this will be a good continuation. So let's play it. d4. Now, of course, we can exchange everything on f3, and in case he decides to take on d4 with the queen, then I can take on b7, I guess. I need to watch out that my rook is on a1 is unprotected, so currently I cannot take on b7, or actually I can, because his rook is undefended as well. So we had here a nice exchange. I lost my fianchetto bishop, but black played several moves with the knight to get this exchange, so it's not bad for anybody. Let's see if I can take here on b7. So if I take on b7 with the queen, I guess he will go rook d8. And rook a1 is hanging. Yeah, and queen b7, rook d8, and then I can play bishop a3. Looks good for me so far. I like it. Okay, so rook d8. Now, to protect my rook on a1, Um, I'm thinking about bishop e3, connecting my rook, supporting my rook on a1, and at the same time hitting the a7 pawn. So let's play this move. It looks very natural. Okay, so he goes back, but now I can actually grab this pawn. Now, after the queen exchange, he might go rook d2, activating his rook on the second rank. But our advantage here is that we're pawn up, and we have two passed pawns. The disadvantage is that they're isolated. They're not supporting each other. So here, a move such as rook c1 can be met with bishop a3. So we need to ask ourselves, can we actually defend the pawn on c2? And to be honest, I don't think so. I don't think so. So what I'm planning to do instead is just to push this pawn. And the further we push it, the higher our chances of winning. Yeah, c2 is not possible. How about rook p1, rook takes c2, and then we can give here a check, but does it actually give us anything? I don't see that it gives us anything, so let's just play a4. Now, when he takes with the rook on c2, I think I might put my rook on c1 to exchange his rook, because his rook on c2 is very active. And I think exchanging the rooks might be a good idea. Or maybe I have to do something instead. Let's see. Maybe rook d1 is better, because I like the idea of rook d1 because it allows me some. First of all, I'm kind of blocking the king, and in case he decides to go, I don't know. Yeah, he can go bishop c5 and exchange. Yeah, so let's play rook c1 instead. I just wanted to do maybe some threats here to the king, but I don't think there's actually anything there. So let's just play simple. We have a passed pawn, and we need to start slowly pushing it. Now, here I like the idea of b6, bishop b6, allowing the pawn to pass, and at the same time threatening rook c7 check, which of course he had to defend. I will start pushing the pawn. The only thing that I don't like is that his king is very active compared to mine. My king is very bad on g1, and I think he has enough defense against my passed pawn, so I should bring my king as soon as possible. Okay, that's interesting. So he offers an exchange. Now, if we exchange everything, I think after all the exchanges, he will exchange bishop. He'll try to get my pawn with his king. And then I will have to do something like this with my king. The issue is that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get to his pawn, and he can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very risky. I don't see any other options. All right, let's exchange and slowly. Where should we go first? Let's go with king g2. I'm not that good at endings, to be honest, so on endgames. So I'm just assuming, but here you actually need to calculate precisely, otherwise you just lose. But let's see. Yeah, let's see. So he will go after my pawn and I'll try to infiltrate his camp. I don't think that he actually calculated this well. I think we both are kind of gambling. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm grabbing his pawns and his king is outside of the main play. So I think we might actually win this one. So he's thinking, I assume that he's calculating now the moves, maybe there's something better, but to be honest, he has to grab this pawn. He cannot go with his king here because this is a threat. He must get rid of the a pawn, and once he goes there, we will infiltrate the camp. So he tries to prevent us from infiltrating the camp. But now actually we can support the pawn. Let's see. Let me calculate for a second, guys. King d4. If he goes king c6, king c4, and king d4, he can play king b7. Yeah, if king b7, king c5, I'm still getting to his camp. Okay, so here, king d4, in my opinion, must be played. Now king c4. Let's see. So now his options, if he goes here, he loses the control of the game. He cannot retreat with the king, and the only option for him here is will be start pushing the pawns. But once he starts pushing the pawns like this one, I believe I can come closer to them. So the plan we talked about before, like infiltrating the camp, it's not possible anymore with the king because of this very nice move, pawn to f6. Okay, so he plays h5. Now, if I play h4, that will be very bad, because then he plays g5, exchange, and then he has h4 breakthrough, winning the game. So instead, we should do something different. I think we should play f4 instead. Yeah, h4 would be very bad. But now if he plays g5, hold on, I take, he takes, and it's 2 against 2 pawns, so I can prevent any breakthroughs. And then e6 pawn becomes weak. I can slowly come to it and grab it, and then finish off the other pawns. So he's taking his time. I think I should play h3 here. Now, if he plays f5, then I have here an option to enter. Okay, so he played g5 in the end. After all, let's take. And now let's calculate. So um, d4, d4, b5, e5, a5, king takes a5, king takes e6, king b5. Yeah, it's winning. So the idea is that he goes after my pawn. I just, hold on, I'll grab the e6 pawn and then I grab those pawns. And he doesn't have any breakthroughs here because I can always block and then come with my king later on. So it's a nice, simple, winning position for endgame. So he tries to go for a breakthrough. We don't actually need to exchange. What we can do instead, just play g4, so we could have two passed pawns in the end, after we grab these pawns with our king. One pawn actually might could have given him chance to draw, because then maybe he can come back with the king to h8. Yeah, sure, Zakoreki, no problem. It was nice to see you. Feel free to join when you have time. I'm streaming now for 2.5 more hours. Okay, so the opponent resigned. I think it's very nice, sweet game. Let's analyze it. Let's analyze it together. So e4, c5, knight f3, knight f6. So this is something that I'm not aware of. Let's see, what do you usually play here? So I played knight c3, which is actually second popular move, but you can actually play here e5. After e5, he goes knight d5. And then we play knight c3. Okay, so knight takes, d takes. Okay, and here black wants to play e6. This is very confusing, very like an unnatural type of position. Okay, so it's how is it called? Sicilian defense, Nimzovich variation. Okay, interesting. So we take and d4. Okay, knight c6, d takes c5, bishop takes c5, and queen takes d5. What? Isn't this better for white? Oh, not really. Because of what? Queen b6 or d6? Yeah, queen b6. What do you do now? Oh wow, okay, this is very sharp, guys. I didn't expect it. Bishop takes f2, king e2. Yeah, this is very sharp. Castle, rook f1. So, wow, okay. Very, very, very interesting variation. Okay, so instead of e5, I went with knight c3. I think that's a good continuation as well. Not playing the main line. Then knight c6. So the engine suggests instead of going g3, bishop g2, go bishop b5 and then close the pawn structure with d3, which is a okay, good idea, but let's see how bad this is. No, d3 is not that bad. It's also, let's see if it's played here. Yeah, it's playable move. d3, now d5, and e5 is an option here, guys. So e5 here is a move. What happens if knight g4, bishop f4, and now black has to play f6, e takes f6, knight takes f6. Um, and then you have to play knight e5. Otherwise, maybe pawn e5 is coming. I don't like it that much because Black has a lot of central pawns here, and I like his comfortable game. Queen h5 is not an issue at all. So e5, I don't like it that much. But again, when you're playing opening, play something that if you see something that you like to play and it's not the best choice, it's like a little bit less popular than the main move, go with it, because it's all about you. It's all about your style and how you prefer to play. So you don't need to play always the best move in the opening, unless it's critical position or a very spicy one. So here I took, knight takes, and engine suggests to take the knight on d5, so black wouldn't damage our pawn structure on c3. But I choose g3, doesn't look that bad. Bishop g4, bishop g2, e6, castle, knight takes, b takes. Okay, and we reach this position, and both sides have a play here. It's a whole game here, and the position is basically equal. Very little advantage for white. And the idea for white is strong bishop on g2. We're controlling the d4 square. We're controlling these squares. We have the b file for us and the e file for us. So looks very nice. Yeah, black can go with bishop e7, castle, maybe play queen f6, putting pressure on c3 or something, and then putting his rook on d8. A lot of stuff can happen here. So let's see where the opponent did a mistake. So actually moving knight to e5 was a mistake because of what? I played d4. No, it's not a mistake. It's a normal move. d4, takes, and here, yeah, so this was a mistake. He shouldn't have taken the pawn on d4 because b7 is hanging and the rook on a8 is unprotected. But instead, if he plays queen d5, offering an exchange of queens, it looks like after queen takes, pawn takes, he have an isolated pawn. But it's really hard for white to gain an advantage here, I guess. After rook check, king d7, black's king suddenly is very active and white's is not. And I think that's the compensation you get for the isolated pawn. So, okay, that was an interesting game. Let's go with a new one.